We talking law school, y'all. Law school. Pull up. We talking law. Pull up. I gotta put the y'all in there. Gotta pull up. Here we go. All right, what's going on, you guys? We're going to let the room continue to fill up, fill up, fill up. We already got some folks in the house. I want to go ahead and start off my session by giving a shout out to my boy TJ. My man just gave birth to his son. Congratulations. All the Brookses out there. Nevertheless, we're going to let this room continue to fill up, you guys. Today we have a lovely, lovely special guest. A lot of you guys just hit me. I was like, man, as our session fills up, I want you guys to let me know where it is that you're viewing our session from. Of course, I'm holding it down here in Missouri, in the Midwest. So as the room fills up, I want you guys to let me know where it is that you're viewing our session from. Because, of course, I want to make sure that you guys are going to get the information you need to be successful. Of course, you guys know that applications for law schools just opened up this September, y'all. Summer is over. Summer is a wrap. And so it's now about you guys being able to be locked in. The procrastination season is done, y'all. So that means we got to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to put ourselves in the situation to be able to make sure that we're securing these acceptances, okay? So as our rooms fill up, I want you to let us know where you're viewing our session from. We got Sean Carter in the house. David Smalls, thank you guys for joining us. Go ahead, who else we got us in the house? We got Vinco joining us. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Again, this session is, of course, to make sure that you guys get access to resources that you need to be successful in bagging and securing the law school acceptance. I don't give a damn about affirmative action. We know that the rules done changed, but guess what, y'all? We still going to win anyway. You get what I'm saying? So as our room fills up, I want you to let us know again where you're viewing our session from. And also let us know what questions you have about applying to law school. One of the things that, of course, is happening right now, you guys, is law school landscape is different. But that's not a reason to be afraid. That's not a reason to be scared. This means that you have to be ready. That means you have to be more intentional. And our whole process, you guys, is about providing you guys with resources, providing you guys with also access to people who can be able to tell you guys what's going down. We got Jersey in the house. Who else we got up in this house, y'all? Go and get a sip of my sugar-free Fanta. All right, so again, tonight's session is a very special session, right? We're going to be having Kim with the Y, Professor Kim with the Y, Porter Solutions, going to come and join us tonight, you guys. I want you guys to make sure that you, of course, ask questions, get answers, and come away fed. I don't care where you are in your process of applying to law school. I want to make sure that you guys come away fed with a clear picture in regards to what you want to do. So, hey, don't be scared. Make sure you drop in the chat box and make sure that you ask one particular question, okay? Because I want to make sure no matter where you are in that process, NYC holding it down in the house. What's up? What's going on, Miss One Girl back up? Wherever you are in that process, I want you to be able to say that you can get your questions answered. We got Alabama in the house. Oh, we got my sister Angie over here in the house, holding it down in Nashville. So again, we got Florida in the house. What's going on, you guys? So again, I want to make sure that you fill my chat box up with questions, okay? Because I want to make sure that you're able to come away with getting answers, okay? I know that the first time that I ever met a law school professor was in law school. But I want to make sure that you guys get an opportunity to talk to a professor. Guess what? A professor who looks like you, has the same passion as you, who wants to see you guys win too. So without further ado, let me get my sister-in-law on the line. We got Chicago in the house. Let's go ahead and get Kim with the Y on the line to be able to come in here, drop some gems, and answer some questions. All right, y'all? Let's see here. In the house. Florida in the house, y'all. Continue to let me know where it is that you're viewing our session from. Graham Crocker for good luck.
See.
What is going
All right.
on, sis?
Hey, how are you?
I am blessed. I am so blessed. I remember one of the things that I'm so excited about this opportunity is because I feel like we got SC in the house too, that so many people have kind of put are afraid of law school professors. And I'm sure you see that fear when you in class. Oh my God, are they really nervous over here? Like, please.
Oh, I ask them. I flat out ask them, "Are you nervous?" Because like, especially when like we're talking through the answer to something, it's like, you got the answer if you would just like actually speak. So yeah, definitely the nerves
And so, you guys, this is Kim with the Y.
with the
Uh,
why.
she's online with Porter Solutions, you guys. She helps 1Ls get into law school while also being a super mom, while also being in the DA's office, while also being a professor. Is there anything you don't do, sis, for real?
I mean, nah, because look, even if I don't know how to do it, YouTube can show me. It ain't nothing I can't put my mind to and figure out. Like, whatever it is, I'm a handy woman around the house. Changed my headlight the other day on my car.
So I'm so excited to have her here, you guys, because I feel like by you guys getting a chance to talk to a professor, talk to someone who looks like you, talk to someone who's been where you are, then it helps you normalize that process. I know I got a couple 1Ls, man. They are scared about their 1L year. And I was like, man, make sure you come and jump on the live and make sure you get some of your questions answered. Because I know that we're trying to serve a whole population of people. And so first things first, I got so many things I want to ask you, sis, is I want to, of course, give you the floor so you could formally introduce yourself, and then we can take it from there.
Okay, cool. So first, I gotta say hey to Tiana. What's up, girl? She said we're her two favorite people, so had to shout her out real quick. Yeah, my name is Kimberly Porter. I am an assistant district attorney for the state of Alabama. I currently live in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Roll Tide.
I knew you were going to say that.
You already know I had to throw it in there. You know. And just like what Anthony said, I am a law school professor. I teach evidence at the law school in Montgomery Faulkner Law, and I also teach criminal law at the undergraduate level at the University of Alabama. And I am a single mom. I have a 13-year-old daughter who went through law school with me. Like she low key got a baby JD. And so that's who I am in a nutshell.
Sis, how about you tell them what you're doing with the Porter Solutions? Go ahead and drop that T too.
So what the Porter Solutions is, I coach law students who are, and it started off with me coaching 1Ls, but to be completely honest, I actually have students from their 1L year all the way through the bar. I have bar prep students as well. And what we do is we make sure that they are academically sound, they are going to succeed academically and end up at the top of their class and then pass the bar. That's what we do. And so we make sure that their executive functions are all good. They stay on top of it. They are held accountable, and they actually understand what it is that their professors want them to know for their final exams. So that's the Porter Solution in a nutshell.
Hold on. I want you guys to be able to break that down because that's actually some very valuable information you guys may actually need now. So when you talked about the executive functions, right? For people right now who are panicking about the LSAT, oh my God, tell me a little bit about that prep and that training that you do in regards to executive function that people can apply towards the LSAT.
So what we do is we make sure that there is a schedule created, and my number one thing with creating a schedule is to thine own self be true. Do not lie to yourself.
Keep it a
I
buck.
give this, yeah, like I give this example all the time. I am not a morning person. I'm just not. And so there's no way I'm going to create a schedule that I'm going to wake up on Saturday morning and be studying at 8 a.m. Because I ain't going to do it. It ain't going to happen. So why lie? Right? Like, and it sounds real good. It looks great in a planner. I look like I am on top of it until I don't, until I oversleep and now I'm behind, and now I feel stressed, now I feel anxiety, and I don't feel nearly as confident in the work that I'm actually doing because I feel that sense of failure. Why on earth would you start your day with a sense of failure? Like, seriously, and so that is one thing that we start off with, is making sure we have a schedule, making sure we are held accountable. And one thing I would definitely say is you're going to need an accountability partner studying for the LSAT. You're definitely going to need that. Also, make sure that if you actually need help understanding the different parts of the LSAT and how to do it, you get that help as well. Let's not pretend. Let's not just go it alone, because you don't have to go it alone.
Say it again. Say it one more time, please.
You don't have to go it alone. And oftentimes I honestly think that it is the resilience in our bloodline that makes us believe that we have to carry the world on our shoulders. I got it. I'm Superwoman. I got this. It's all good. Sure, you're strong. We know you're strong. That's how you got here.
Right.
But strength doesn't mean that you have to do this by yourself without any aid, without any help. And so that's my tip. That's my thought. Alexis says she needs an accountability partner. Bad girl, get up in these comments. Somebody else on this feed is also studying for the LSAT and also needs an accountability partner. Y'all better add each other.
Hey, and the thing about what I tell people is that we're in an amazing time now where there's access to resources. The thing is, we just have to realize the same resource. I'm about to say something that may get people offended, but I'm going to say it anyway. The same resource that we use to get access to bundles and Jordans and collectibles, we can get access to lawyers, judges, and other opportunities and other law students. But we have to be able to understand and take that step. I think, honestly, a lot of times for a lot of people, sis, is that literally the LSAT starting, the whole process, is the first time that people have to pivot in their entire life. And boy, and if they're fortunate enough to not have to pivot in the LSAT, oh my God, then the pivot happens when they go to law school, right? And then the thing where I call is a lot of times what we happen is we start masking. I got it. I'm good. Yeah. No, you're not. No, you're not. I could get a little bit of it. And, the best thing about, even though I have a love-hate relationship with the LSAT, is it really throws the mask out there. You get exposed. And also that, of course, is what happens with law school, too, is you oftentimes get exposed. And so one of the things I would love for you to talk about, because you have so many different hats that you have on, is first I want you to take us back in the time machine a little bit and tell us a little bit about when you were where a lot of these people are, where they're sitting here. A lot of people are saying to themselves, I don't have a 170. I don't have this. I don't have that. I can't be a lawyer. How did you deal with that self-doubt? Because let's be a buck, it was not easy at all.
It's not. It's definitely not. I'm just going to tell y'all, my story is legit like rags to riches type thing when we're talking about having resources to study, apply, etc. I did not have the resources to do so. I literally just had a practice LSAT book from the library, the public library that I borrowed, and I just drilled them. I literally just drilled the problems. And so I did not have access to a tutor or a course or just any type of knowing how to do it. And so I had to figure that junk out. And so what I want to say is, if you're in a place financially where you legit just don't have it, number one, there is a free resource. Khan Academy is a free resource. But number two, you can still do it. That's the biggest thing, is hard work and determination will get you there. YouTube it. If you don't understand logical reasoning, YouTube that junk. If you don't understand logic games, YouTube it. It's cool. Figure out a way to get some of these resources. Even if you got to put it together, you might have to piece it together. That's fine. The important thing is that you get the information and you get there. And so while I was with a borrowed book from the public library, maybe your version of that is YouTube and Khan Academy, but either way, you're going to get there. So don't be so stuck on what you don't have, and remember what you do have, which is your mind, your ability to learn. And so go get it. Definitely go get it.
And sis, last time I checked, library's still open, right?
They are. They are.
And the cool thing about it, you guys, is technology-wise, you ain't even got to go in the library now. You can upload the book digitally to your device. And so you don't have to deal with those fees. And so I know having the nice book is all nice and pretty, but the only thing that matters is the content. And I'm even sure that, let's say you say I can't go to a public library, but my shock was, at law libraries, they actually also have the LSAT books. They have all of them. So you can go get the most current one. And literally, I remember at one point I had to get a friend who was at the law school to check the book out for me. But nevertheless, like one of the things that Kim said, you guys, is you cannot really focus on what you don't have. At the end of the day, I'll tell people this, it's like the quickest way to getting a higher score is really, you're going to laugh at this, Kim. You may be silly, but I tell people, you got to make your wrong answers your boo or your bae. You got to fall in love with them Jones, man. To my people in Philly, to them Jones, yes. You got to be like, because think about it. When you think about the boos and the bays, you know when the birthday is, you know the color, you know the food, you know everything.
Yeah.
That's how we have to treat our wrong answers. Because you guys, I made the mistake of thinking that the value was going to come in a course. So I was like, oh, I'm going to do Princeton Review. Money I didn't have. Oh, that didn't work. It must have been the course. I'm going to do Kaplan. Oh, that didn't work. It must have been the course. It was only until you guys, I said, okay, I ain't got no money to borrow. I can't borrow no more money. So what am I going to do? And so, again, the same method that Kim used, I had to use. I ended up going to the library, getting old books. And one of the things that I did, you guys, and I've told the story because I want you guys to understand it's not about what you don't have, it's what you have. It's really, it comes down to making those wrong answers your boo or your bae. It sounds silly, but think about it. Let's keep it a buck, Kim. When people get wrong answers, boy, they treat it like it's stank. Get this away.
That's true.
I don't even want to look at it. I don't want to look at the wrong answers. But fam, like, that's how you get the right answers.
That's exactly it. That's exact. And not only that, but treat it like what it is. It is an offense to your intelligence. And so you'll never get it wrong again because you already know. You're like, oh no, I remember that. For example, I can remember being in the 8th grade in the spelling bee. I was number 2. I couldn't spell judgment. I put an E in that mug. I will never misspell that word again because it was so scarring to, oh, I got this wrong. I can't believe it. It's seared into my brain now. It just is. And it's the same way with problems as well, whether it be on the LSAT or once you actually get to law school. Once you get to law school and you're working on those multiple choice questions in preparation for your finals, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to get some wrong, and that's fine. I love that. I love that. Make it your boo or your babe. I like it. I like it.
And again, you guys who just joined us, we got the professor on the live, yo. Kim with the Y, y'all, for the solutions, you guys, man. And she's dropping some serious gems, you guys, because I think also, and this applies towards the bar, applies towards finals, applies towards LSAT, is you really kind of, and you tell me what you think about this, you got to get out your feelings, man. It ain't about your feelings, because the test is going to be the test, no matter if you like it or you love it, right?
Right, right. I mean, and the funny thing about it, if truly reform is your passion, you can't reform until you actually make it. So you're going to have to get past whatever your feelings about it is, however you feel, you're going to have to get past it. So I definitely agree with that. You can't be emotional about it.
And I'll say this, to my law students out there, man, you don't have to like it to do well in it. But I got my feelings all tied up. I do not like Civ Pro. This is so boring. Letting my feelings get in the way of my grade. Like, what am I doing?
Right. Right.
And so, like, one of the other things I definitely want to touch base with you is, like, for example, oftentimes, when people are in the process of applying to school, and I know we're going in the time machine, I want you to tell people about how you went about making your choices, because people, don't get me wrong, U.S. News is a great source, but I tell people, like, I love Faulkner Law School. I love it, by the way. There are 199 law schools, y'all. All you need is one. But a lot of times people's mindsets, they don't really know. They don't have a lot of knowledge about the law schools that are out there.
So what I'll say starting off is not at all to discourage anyone's goals, dreams, aspirations, but it's not T14 or bust. That's just not what it is.
Say it again.
And it's not T14 or bust. It's not. And the reason I say that is because honestly, it really depends on what your career aspirations are as to where you even need to go to law school. Because guess what? Little bitty Faulkner Law whooped Harvard's tail in a trial competition. Why? Because if you want to try cases, you might want to go to Faulkner Law. Harvard looks good, sounds good, great, 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 great. Nothing wrong with it. But that is for white shoe lawyers. That is for big law. That is for transactional stuff. You're not going to learn how to get down and dirty in a courtroom there. You're just not. And so it really just depends on what it is that you want to do. Not only that, but it depends on what your lifestyle is like. So for me, when I was looking at schools, I had a daughter and I knew, okay, it's going to be just me and my baby. I need to be within driving distance of my family. And what made me know that is I had a very scary experience when she was like an arm baby. She's like an infant. We went to Huntsville, Alabama, which is about 6 hours away from my hometown in Mobile. And we went up there just to visit some friends because that's where I went to undergrad and we're just hanging out. And then I ended up in incredible pain, had to go to the ER. Turns out I had gallstones and I needed gallbladder surgery the next day. And so I'm sitting in the ER with a baby in my arm and an IV in the other arm, like what I'm supposed to do. And so I realized after that, I'm like, okay, this isn't going to work. I can't be so far from my family that they can't get here at a moment's notice. So that's what I looked for in a law school. I looked for somewhere that was going to be close by and then somewhere where the campus fit me. When I visited Faulkner, the campus it was a tight-knit community. I got a chance to tour. I met all of the deans. They literally stepped out of their offices to have conversations with me, like meaningful, full conversations, not just, oh, hi, I'm the dean, bye. No, like we had full conversations. We talked about what all they have planned for the school, what all they had planned for their classes, etc. Like they were incredibly welcoming. And that was important to me because I like that feel. I didn't want to be just a number in a place that I learned. No, I wanted to be a part of it. And for me, that was very beneficial because to this day, obviously, now I'm back there teaching. But before I was back there teaching, I could go back to my law school at any time. And I did because I would travel back to speak for BALSA and all of that. And every single time, all of my deans, all of my professors, they are giving me hugs, speaking to me, how's baby girl? They're all of the things. And so that's what was important to me in selecting a law school. So make a list of your pros and cons, things that you really, really have to have, things that are deal breakers, things that you know you want. Also, making sure that you keep your career aspirations in mind and find somewhere that fits that.
And let's just go back one quick second, all right? Because, she's normalizing overcoming obstacles. Because I want to make sure that people catch this, right? So you're telling me, sis, you can go to law school and have a kid. You don't need to wait until the kid gets 5. You don't need to wait until they grow. Because there's so many brilliant parents out there who are literally placing barriers saying, man, I got to wait till this kid's ready to go to school. And so I want you to be able to highlight that because we had another amazing mom on who went to law school, has 5 kids. And so I want people to be able to realize, this is something that people are doing every day. And so I want you to just kind of hyper focus on like, how much did it mean to you going to law school while being a mom? Because I think that those two, I tell people, I said, Y'all don't get it, man. These kids be our superpower. That's how we push through.
That's exactly it. And it's funny you say that because just today, my daughter asked me, she was like, Mom, if I weren't here, where do you think you'd be? I said, girl, I don't know, but I wouldn't be a lawyer. And she said, well, why not? I would not have had the determination to work as hard as I had to work to get through law school if I was not a mom. I just got to be honest and say that. I definitely would have been more selfish, more in the moment, not nearly as forward thinking, not nearly as thinking about, hey, how am I going to provide, et cetera, et cetera. No, I would not have been thinking about any of that had I not been a mom. Not only that, but let me just say, regardless of what stage of parenthood you're in, law school is not foreclosed to you. I know a lawyer, a successful lawyer right now who had a baby her 1L year and her 3L year and graduated on time and passed the bar the first time and is a barred attorney. So it's not about whether or not you have kids. That's not a foreclosure for law school. Any kind of circumstance that you have, any kind of circumstance you have, I promise you, 9 times out of 10, between the two of us, we know somebody that did it.
I
Like,
love it. Y'all heard that Bama accent, right? So I hope you guys understand it, y'all. Like, ain't no shame in it, because, yo, when I was in law school, the first time I did it riding solo dolo by myself, and I got dismissed. Somehow, some way, married with kids, I did pretty well. And you know what, yo? It is no shame. I brought my kids to class. Hey, y'all take this phone. You take this phone. Y'all put on y'all headphones, and we gonna go to work.
you know what? You childish, bro. You're absolutely right. Breakups before law school. Because listen, I had one of those. Baby, I went to law school and blocked the number. And now it's like, I hope you see me walking down the street. I hope you see what I'm doing on these social media streets because it ain't you. So, absolutely, they are motivation. Absolutely, they are.
Watching the stories, fam. I see you pulling up, but I'm moving. And you guys, this is why I think this is so beautiful, because a lot of times, let's be real. Sis, when's the last time you taught? When was the first time you talked to a law school professor?
Definitely touring law school.
And then let's not even go a bug and say a black law school professor.
Literally, while I was a student at law school.
Wow.
And even then, I had two my whole time. And one of them was not actually even teaching law school stuff because I got my JD and my LLM at the same time. One of them was actually my LLM professor technically.
So this is why you guys, this is so important. You guys are sitting here looking at a living, breathing professor who is showing you guys the tips that she did, realizing that this is something that you can do. Oftentimes we put people on pedestals and think, oh my God, she's an assistant DA. Man, she must have had it easy. And she's like, heck no, player. No, no. Let me tell you my testimony. Sunday's over here saying wow in the text. I see my other student Neo's on here as well. And so one of the things I want you to talk about in regards to, and if you could just touch base with it, because I get a lot of people from my 1Ls who are on here as well. Because I know one of my sisters are on here is a 1L. Is what advice do you give to a 1L right now? Because I think, they're about in the third week where now the pressure's starting to get, the pace is kind of slowly getting faster. And I got a lot of people just hella nervous. It's like, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what to do. I need to jump. So let
Okay.
them know what they need to do. I'm going to have to step away real quick to get a charger for my phone, but please share the tea, sis.
Absolutely. So before I answer that question, I'm actually going to answer the question in the chat right now. Vinco says, do relationships not work in law school? It's not that they don't work. They do work, but they only work if both of the people completely understand what law school is and what it requires. Law school requires an immense amount of time and energy. And so you're not going to be able to do your relationship the same way that you did it prior to law school while you're in law school. And so requires a lot of understanding, honestly. Now, I do know some people who were in relationships prior to law school and they continued those relationships. I also know people who got into relationships while in law school and continued those relationships. So relationships definitely work. It's just an extra motivation when you freshly out of a relationship, but now you about to up level your life by going to law school. That was all that was. Now, my advice to 1Ls. 1Ls right now, you need to, number one, make sure that you have started your outline. I know you still a little bit confused and you're like, okay, I got all this information. What do I do with it? How do I outline? How do I put it together? Start putting it together. Start on your outline. Don't wait until you understand the material to outline. Start putting it down. You can always refine later. But if you don't start now, then you're just gonna get behind. It's gonna snowball, and before you know it, it's gonna be a huge monster that's too big to overcome. And so that's what you don't want to do. So go ahead and start outlining now. Also, if you have completed certain topics within your classes, which you probably have. So for example, if you're in torts, you may have already completed battery and assault, so you know what those are. You've already talked about false imprisonment. You might be headed into negligence. That means that you can start doing practice questions on those topics. You can go ahead and start making sure that you understand the law on those topics, because what you don't want to do is wait until the end to try and understand absolutely everything at one time. So make sure you go ahead and start with those practice questions. There are plenty of supplements that you're able to use for practice questions. Q&A is a good one. Siegel's is another good one. Feel free to DM me if you need any supplement advice or if you're not sure what supplement to use, but there are plenty of supplements out there, and you don't necessarily have to buy them. Oftentimes they can be found in your school's law library, and that's actually where I recommend that you start so that you don't spend money on something that you're not going to like in the end. So those are two things you definitely need to be working on right now if you're in your 1L year.
And sis, Young Childish Bro, I know you over at St. John, sis. Utilize that library. That library is free 99. Don't go take. I swear to God, yo, we get that refund check, boy. We be ready to spend money. That money is meant to last, y'all. It's supposed to last, because you're gonna be on that ramen noodle diet by the end of the semester. But listen, you guys, again, man, we are in a very, very special space where we're able to get gems and tea from law school professor Kim with the Y, y'all. Holding it down, roll tide, Bama pride over here. But I want you guys to be able to understand that, like, also, sis, let me ask you this. Do they got office hours in law school?
Of course. Of course.
Never scared. Be coming to your office.
Listen, I'm going to be honest. They don't. And that's the problem. Office hours exist for a reason. And if you don't know what it is, office hours is a time period where you can go and talk to your professor one-on-one, or it can be you and your study partner or a small group of friends, however. And the whole purpose is so that you know that you understand what's being taught. This is a time not to be taught all over again, but to refine the information that's been given. This is a time where you take your outline and you say, hey, do I have this rule of law right? Do I have the correct information? Do I have all of the information that I need? So, for example, most of you probably have not gotten there yet, but property law. Property law is an absolute beast. And part of what, oh gosh, of course. Part of what makes property a beast, though, is the future interest and trying to figure out what follows who and where they going and all of that kind of stuff. And so I literally had to make a flow chart so that I could remember all of the things. But I had to take that flow chart to my professor to make sure that I understood, okay, I got a fee simple determinable. What is followed by that? Is that the right of entry that follows that? Or what? How does this go? What comes behind that? Like, I had to take that to my professor during office hours to make sure that I'm on the right track instead of just brain dumping all the stuff that I think I know. So that's the purpose of office hours. That's going to be really, really helpful to you as well.
And I mean, I'm just curious, right? You know, of course, I'm asking these questions. You guys, the same self-awareness that you have to have in law school first starts with the LSAT, yo. Like, where you have to be like, okay, I don't know this, but I could act like I know it. I can lie to my friends and family. I got this. I'm about to kill this LSAT. I've been practicing scoring 164s and 170s, right? But then that real test comes up, you guys. It's so important. I think the LSAT, of course, takes the mask off, where we have to learn how to be self-aware in order to how we're going to operate and move. And once that self-awareness hits in the LSAT, then it transitions towards law school too. And it just has to be able to be a certain. I tell people like this, man. Law school is going to humble you. It's going to make you say to yourself, am I going to act like I know, or am I willing to do what I have to do to know? And Kim,
That's exactly it. That is exactly it. Like I tell people all the time, I would much rather look stupid in class than on the exam. I'm going to ask.
Okay, so let's ask a quick question so people who don't know. I mean, do I lose points on my grade if I get it wrong in class?
Nope. Okay. Not at all. Absolutely not.
And I want to debunk another myth out there. And let's say, sis, I get accommodations, right? Will they be able to, are you able to tell that when you grade our class?
Nope. Not at all.
Right, because I have a lot of people out there that's like, well, I don't want to get accommodations because then it's going to affect my grading. And I'm like, where are we getting these myths from that are not true?
Let me just be real with you. A lot of times people that have accommodations end up closer to the top of their class because they are more on even footing and actually have the things that they need in order to showcase what they really know. So, I think if you need accommodations, please get them as soon as possible, please.
And the thing that's amazing, you guys, and again, I have to introduce our sister-in-law here again, you guys, is Kim with the Y, Kimberly Porter. She's a DA in Bama, also a professor, doing it big, you guys. And of course, we want to also support her and what she's doing. She's also providing assistance to one else. Make sure y'all follow her on Porter Solutions, you guys. Kim Porter Solutions, to follow her because she wants to be able to help you guys not just get into law school. Let's be above. We'd be like, oh man, I got in. Now we gotta be able to survive that curve because somebody's gonna fail. We gotta make sure Kim's out here to make sure it's not gonna be you.
Yeah, definitely.
And so one of the other things, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I see here people in the chat box. You guys have questions. Young Childish Bro, she's over there in Minnesota. Let's see. She said, my professor's got office hours and coffee hours because they're trying to get y'all to come. They be trying to bribe y'all to come. They saying we don't bite, yo, come. I got kicked. Hey, sis, I got kicked out of office with professors my second time around because I was like, I'll be damned. If y'all got the answer, I want you guys to Childish Bro. Think this. They got the answers. They got the answers.
Mm-hmm.
And you got 6 months to talk to the people who got the answers, to get the answers how they want it, so you can get the score that you want. But I was acting hella scared the first time around. I got this. Yeah, of course. Didn't know anything, you guys. So let's see. Somebody else said, do you still host the Silent Zoom study halls? Yes, we're going to have a Silent Zoom study hall tomorrow. It may not have host special guests like we had with the LSAT young lady before, but we're going to just be sitting there studying. Sometimes studying ain't pretty. Am I right, sis?
You are absolutely right.
And so we created it as a space for you guys to have accountability. So every Thursday at 7 to 9, you guys are able to study. I'm trying to get guests to come on to help you guys drop gems. But it ain't going to be pretty. We're just going to be studying. But sometimes we need that accountability because we may not get it everywhere else. But every Thursday at 7, you can lock in, study, and you know that if you have a question, you can post it in the chat and get some answers along the way. And so, sis, one of the things I want to ask you, right, if you were to give some advice to someone who is applying to law school and they're reapplying, what is the biggest advice you would have them give them in regards to what they need to do differently? Because a lot of people be like, well, you know what, I'm going to submit the same stuff. What do you think they should do?
No, you're going to have to show growth. You've got to, because otherwise, what's going to be the difference? That's the biggest thing, is there needs to be some difference for them to take a chance on you. So no, definitely don't submit the same thing over and over again. Definitely do something different between the cycles and make sure you can show some growth and show some diversity to your package and your application package. That's going to be very important.
All right, sis, we got another powerful, amazing mother here. And oh, that's T. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. I'm sorry. She said, I just found this page and I recently decided I'm going to law school. I'm a single mother of one and I just enrolled in a paralegal studies program. What advice do you have for me? From one mom to another mom. I want you to drop the T, sis. Let her know.
Well, my first question is, if you just decided you going to law school, why are you in a paralegal studies program? And the only reason I ask that is because being a paralegal or having gone through that program does not necessarily make you more apt to do well in law school. Your time would probably better be served working, saving money, and actually making your application package a winning application package for the upcoming cycle if you are able to do so. And if you're not able to do so, then I wouldn't use a paralegal studies program to kill time. I will go to work, hands down. And if you're like, oh, well, I'm doing this online because I'm a single mom, okay, cool. There are work from home jobs. Do one of those instead. If you're doing something so that you can be productive, that's probably the best use of your time if you're serious about law school. And so, what I'll say is make sure, if you're headed into law school and you're a single mom, make sure you have your village in place. And if you're not able to have your village in place, then start doing some research as to creative opportunities to build a village. You may have to go the care.com route when you first get to law school if you go to law school in a place where you don't have family and friends. You may have to have someone that you don't necessarily know, but I say care.com just because oftentimes they've done the background check for you. They have done all of the research for you to make sure that this is someone safe you can leave your baby with. And obviously, it depends on the age of your child, if there are any special circumstances with your child, and things of that nature. I'm super happy to continue this conversation offline. You can always jump in my DMs. I have a special place in my heart for law school mamas. I got you, boo.
And again, show them how can I get in contact with you? How can I follow you? What's your screen name? What's your username?
Oh, definitely at the Porter Solution.
Y'all got that right?
Definitely.
And the other thing that what I want you guys to also highlight, listen, man, when a professor, a DA gives you advice, follow it. What she's saying, sis, is that actually you're going to gain a whole lot more valuable experience in the actual actions of doing the work. Of course, the realm of academia is going to provide you with a certificate. And let's be a buck, you guys. We all been there. Hey, we from the South, sis. Sometimes we go to school because we need the money. Let's keep it a buck. And so if that's what the process is doing, what Kim is telling you, sis, and everybody out there, is that also make sure that you supplement your academic experience while also trying to go get some legal experience, because that way it's going to go and coincide together. Because the value of legal experience, although, sis, they don't say it's required, but man, it definitely does look good. And I can tell you, we're now in an era where, listen, I mean, we can't even make COVID excuses no more. You can do it virtually.
Right.
And you know what? Let's keep it up. If we able to, I ain't going to go there. No, I'll go there. I'll go there. If we can go to a Beyonce concert and rock a mask, I know my wife rocked a mask at the Beyonce concert, then we could go rock a mask to go to a law office. We could go
Absolutely.
rock a mask to go to other things. And so I don't mean to offend the beehive out there, but I just put it out there to say to you guys, we cannot look at these barriers and say this is a reason why we can't do it.
Right. Right.
So again, if a professor tells you legal experience, y'all, please take the advice. I see here LaBelle Ebony says, she says, I'm a paralegal and I completed a paralegal program to certify that going to law school was something I truly wanted to pursue. That's cool. What do you think about that, sis?
I didn't hear it. I'm Sorry.
Okay, Miss LaBelle Ebony says, I'm a paralegal and I completed a paralegal program to solidify that going to law school was something I truly wanted to pursue.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. That sounds good. Definitely, like we said before, definitely try and get some work in that field. Definitely try and get some experience. Now, what I will tell you is that if you are in the field now and you are working as a paralegal now, when you do head to law school, you have to go to law school as much of a blank slate as possible.
Right.
Oftentimes, I have found that people who have prior legal experience as a legal aid or a legal secretary or a paralegal, those people sometimes come in with preconceived notions about how the law works. And law school does not teach you practicality. Law school teaches you the law in theory. And it's hard to make that switch because you like, that's not how that go in real life. And
Right.
it ain't. It ain't how it go in real life, but it's how it got to go on that exam.
Right.
So that's what you got to do. And so that's what I would say.
Y'all check that, right? Again, it ain't about feelings, y'all. It cannot be about feelings. It cannot. I don't care if you, oh boy, I'm thinking about some cases where you sitting here and say, that ain't right, that's wrong. Do you want to be right on in personally, or do you want to be right on your final? And that applies also towards the LSAT, you guys. I know a lot of times we look at the answers and we get in our feelings about, I don't like how this goes. Sometimes we have to go with it. All right, sis, we got somebody else. Alexis said, would you recommend doing law school online? The attorney I work for is trying to push me that way of part-time to continue to work for him. How thoughtful. But I just don't think it's ideal.
It's not. It's not. And I can understand that your attorney probably does want, you're probably an awesome employee, and that's why they want you to stick around and work
Right.
part-time and all of that. No, and I say that even though the program that I teach in is a part-time program, most of their instruction is online, and then we meet every other weekend in face-to-face. What I will tell you is that you're not going to get the full law school experience, and it's that full law school experience that prepares you to actually become a lawyer and think on your feet, because that's what you're going to need to be able to do. So I would definitely not recommend it. If you're in a position where that's what you got to do, then you got to do what you got to do. But if you have a choice, go full time in person to law school.
And just to piggyback on that, again, no shade to that attorney, but I'm sure that attorney has invested a lot of time in training you and has things done just the way that he wants it. And so you have to also be able to understand and take what people say as a grain of salt and also realize what you have to do to be successful. For most of us, we've been able to thrive in in-person settings. And if you're going to do online, because guess what? Online school ACE is it cheaper or is it just the same amount?
No, that's the same amount.
Same amount. And so I tell people all the time, you have your whole life as a canvas to see what environment you thrive in. And I can honestly tell you, if you have no experience doing online, you do not want to go online for the first time for law school and try to figure it out. Now, I've had students who have done it, but I'll tell you, you really have to work that much harder because the law school pretty much is like an organic experience. You kind of learn as you grow, and you want to make sure that you're part of that process. But sis, you just dropped some gems that I just need to be able to, that we got to talk about for a second. A lot of people are asking, and that's one reason I love the Faulkner Law program, is this thing about weekend school and online school. And Faulkner says, because where y'all located, you know how it is in the South. You got everybody named Mama coming from Tennessee, Mississippi, Florida,
Yeah.
Georgia, coming on the weekend. So tell people a little bit about weekend programs and how they work, because I think Faulkner was ahead of the curve and them doing it. And I want you guys to be able to tune in, because guess what? You can live in Georgia and go to Faulkner on the weekends. And I know a lot of people are doing that because of that wonderful program they have set up.
I got students that live in Texas and they literally fly there. So, I mean, it really is one of those things where you can live wherever as long as you can get there every other weekend. And to me, it is better than just online because you do still get that in-person interaction. And I'll just say, as for my classes, we still do cold calls. We still do making sure you've done your readings. We still do the final exam as normal. Like, I mean, for my class, there's not going to be a huge difference other than you can do things asynchronously throughout the week. That's really going to be the biggest difference for my class. And so I think it is a great mix for people who still need to work full time, because the reality is everyone can't quit their job and go to law school. Everyone just can't. And so if that is your reality, then I think it's a great opportunity for those who can't afford to just quit their job and go to law school, who do need to go at a different pace.
And so the thing about it, you guys, I want you to really highlight, man, law school is not about convenience at all. Because sis, you was still, when you was doing Faulkner, how far away were you when you were making that commute?
Oh no, no, I moved. I
Oh, you
didn't have
moved.
I didn't have family or friends or anything like that. I up and took me and my baby and moved, which was, to be honest, also probably more uncomfortable because I had classes every single day. I went full time, and to commute would have been a 2.5 hour drive daily. So I had to move. And so that was probably more uncomfortable just because when I moved to Montgomery, I didn't know anyone there. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any family. I didn't have those built-in babysitters. If baby girl got sick, it's just me and her. I got to stay home. So I had to save my absences. Save your absences. You only get so many before they start affecting your grades. And so that is what I had to do. And you're absolutely right. It ain't nothing comfortable about law school. I don't care how you
And
do it.
so, and a reason why I say that, you guys, is listen, man, you got to be able to step out your comfort zone. I just said, I thought people were just coming just from the bordering states to come to Bama. Now, people coming from Texas. And since when I was going to law school in South Carolina, since I thought I was doing something, man, I'm driving 2 hours every day for 3 years. Then all of a sudden I found out people were coming from Florida. People were coming from Georgia every day, staying in hotels, you guys. And so understanding, man, we would love the ideal situation. And this is to my NYers out there. We would love it because, sis, my people, folks from NY, oh, they say, I just want to go to Brooklyn Law because I can just get off right at the train and it's just convenient. And I just try to tell them that'd be great. But let's say you got to go to Pace. Let's say you may have to take that Airbus and go to UDC or go to American. Sometime we're going to have to commute. And what you're not willing to do, y'all, somebody else will. Because there are only a certain amount of seats available in your state that'll be convenient, that'll be perfect. But sometimes that convenient and that perfect stuff ain't going to work. But you got to find a way to make that lawyer dream work. And so that's why I thought it was so amazing. The Faulkner Weekend program, you got folks coming from Texas, y'all. We got people over here. Let's see. We got some more questions in the chat for you, sis. Let's see here. We got a lot of people. Oh, this is a great one for you, sis, because, and I think this is also, how do you balance the workload in law school? And I really want you to talk about it from the position because you were riding solo dolo for a minute and when you had your daughter, who's now 13, y'all. She's a junior law student in training, y'all.
So honestly, balancing the workload in law school, it really and truly came from making sure I had my schedule. Let me see if I have these. Don't think I do. Oh, yes, I do. I do.
You about to pull out
Perfect.
this big
So,
notebook, y'all. Watch this.
shut up. First of all, you don't know me. First of all, you don't know what I'm about to do. That's the very first thing.
Watch.
Okay. So I want y'all to see this because this is how I live. This is my planner for my 1L year.
Wow.
I got hour by hour by hour. I'm getting close so y'all can see, hopefully. But literally, and do you see I had to schedule my bedtime because otherwise I would not be in bed when I'm supposed to. That's how I balance the workload. I literally had to plan out every hour of my day, because otherwise what would happen is when it would be time to study, I would spend 10, 15 minutes trying to figure out what I need to study, what I should study first. And then once I figure out what I'm going to study first, then I got to get all of my stuff together. Let me get my notebook. Let me get my pens. Let me get my book. No, if you have it already mapped out, what you're going to do when you're going to read for whatever class you have coming up, when you're going to outline, when you're going to work on your legal writing and your legal research assignments, all of those things mapped out, it makes it a whole lot easier to make those decisions when it comes time to study, because you got to think about it. There's times where you literally can't study, i.e. when you're driving to and from class, or when you're going to the gym, or when you're eating, you got to go, you actually have to eat and take care of yourself. And so all of these things you're not going to be able to study. And so when it's time to sit down and study, you need to use all of that time to actually study, and not use part of it to figure out how you're going to start studying and not be studying in the meantime. So that is how I balanced the workload. I made sure everything was scheduled out, including taking care of myself. I scheduled me time. I scheduled my bedtime, as you saw. I scheduled time to make sure I ate, time to make sure I had time to do the things that would help to alleviate some stress for me. And those are my bubble bath and wine. Like, that was me on a weekly basis. Bubble bath and wine. I'm chilling. Like, but you have to do those things. And that was how I balanced the workload. And just to really quick answer, when I plan my week, I plan my week every weekend on Sunday, going into the week. And I will plan my weekend from the Monday to the following Sunday. So I already have that time planned out of when I'm going to plan my week as well. So that's how I did my planning.
And I would just say 2 words to that. That's what you call being intentional. This passive, I just gonna go by the way. Nah, bro. Nah, sis. Listen, man, you got your sister-in-law, you got your brother-in-law right here trying to tell you guys that process of being intentional has to start now. I know I got a lot of people. I got a text message in the middle of this asking, okay, what do I need to do for my LSAT schedule? Because I bombed my LSAT. It's like, sis has made a schedule. And it has to be a schedule where you got to be honest with yourself. You ain't going to be able to, I used to lie to myself all the time, sis. I'm going to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to study for 2 hours. I'm going to go to the gym. And then
Sleep. You in the bed slump.
Lying to myself, and then blaming it on other people why it didn't work, right? It was my alarm clock.
Right.
It was something else. But you guys, that's the thing that's so amazing about this journey of becoming a lawyer, is it builds on itself. Like, sis got to where she is now because kind of to build on yourself. It started, of course, long before she said she wanted to take an LSAT. It was about saying, okay, this is what I want, but I have to be honest with myself. You have to make a schedule that's being honest with yourself. And a lot of times the struggle that people have, sis, is that we rely on prep courses and everything like that to do the thinking for us. And that's a lot of time I feel like we're paying, and you're talking to 2 people, you guys, who did not do the prep course route. All right? Because we're paying the prep course to do the thinking for us. You know when you need to study. You know the material that you need to study. You have access, which is amazing, you guys. YouTube. You have access, and also check out LSAT Reddit too. All these amazing tools to get answers. But a lot of times we're trying to get other people to do the thinking for us. Some of the hardest things to do, sis, and I'm sure you may got practice, but I still struggle like crazy with it, is to sit down and force myself to make a schedule for the next week. Like, ooh, boy. But that practice that you've had, sis, has helped you get to the point where you're able to perfect it. I see we got David Smalls in here. He says, my passion is criminal prosecution, but my bank is saying big law, even if for a short period. As an ADA, this is for you, sis, did you ever have this internal conflict? If so, how did you go about your decision?
Child, I'm conflicted now. I am conflicted. No, but so I will say that criminal prosecution isn't necessarily always just no money. And the reason I say that is because federal prosecutors, they make six figures, honestly. Now, in order to get there, you've got to get some experience, or you've got to go through the honors program. And if you go through the honors program, that is an incredibly competitive program. You need to make your resume even more competitive. And so those two things are your routes into criminal prosecution and not being broke. That's kind of how it goes. Now, there is a broke period, but I mean, I feel like to everything in life, there's a broke period. Like, I mean, that is the journey that often is traveled, whether it's your broke period through undergrad, your broke period through law school, what have you. That's just kind of how it goes. And so what I will say is, just take a second to think about, okay, what is it that you actually enjoy about it? What is it that you truly want to do? Do you truly want to prosecute criminal cases, or do you really want to try cases? If you want to be a litigator and you want to try cases, do not go big law first. You won't see the inside of courtrooms 5-6 years. Definitely go the opposite route. Go to being an ADA first. Do that for about 4 or 5 years. You will have so many trials under your belt to when you actually are ready to go big law so that you can make some money. If that's your choice, then you are marketable and you get inside of a courtroom much faster because you already have that trial experience. So I would say take a look at what it is that you truly want to do, what it is that you really like about criminal prosecution, and decide if that is the route that you want to take. Because I'll say, I love my job. I absolutely love it. I enjoy it. It is lots and lots of fun. It's stressful, but it's fun. It really is. And so it's not something that I'll give up easily, which is why I teach part-time, because I love teaching, but I also love prosecuting. It is like, that's just how I am right now. And so I would say take a look at what it is that you truly enjoy about it, and that'll help you to make your decision. But definitely don't go big law first. Don't do it.
Boy, did sister drop some gems tonight or what, y'all? I mean, sis, you putting it down. You putting it down, you guys. And I hope you guys really utilize this as a great opportunity, because I hope that you guys also reach out to her on her IG. Sis be posting some reels. She's doing the dang things, and also making herself available to you guys. One thing that's amazing, you guys, is we wanted to try to create a community where you have support. Sis talked about when she first started her journey, she's kind of riding solo dolo, and a lot of people are in that situation. Now, man, y'all ain't got no excuse. You got sister-in-law over here, you got me over there, all here to help you guys along the way. So don't be scared. Don't be scared. Reach out. We don't bite. All right? And so, sis, thank you so much for coming on. And you guys, make sure you follow her. Make sure you utilize this resource, because it's a resource that can help you manifest your lawyer dreams. It's not just about getting into law school. It's also about being successful once you get there. Kim, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you guys also for joining us. And y'all have a wonderfully blessed night. Peace and blessings. There we